Now, the voting in Kenya just closed a couple of minutes ago, but anyone who is still in the line past 5 p.m. will still be allowed to vote. As of noon today, the independent, the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission released data that showed about 6.5 million people had already cast their vote, which is about 30% of the 22.1 million voters. Now, votes had been cancelled in some part of the country like Mombasa, Kakamega, rural Kitui, and Rongai constituency because of some discrepancies in the ballot papers, and these places will have to cast their votes a little bit later, maybe in 30 days or so. Now, there have been some issues with security in some places that also affected the vote, and also floods in some places that affected the distribution of voting materials in places like Wajir, where there was a case of insecurity yesterday, and also in the Dadaab refugee camp. There were 4 different polling stations which had to be closed for them to cast their vote at a later time because of insecurity purposes.
Okay, but it sounds largely smooth proceedings there, Viviana. Do you tell our viewers a little bit more about what the winner of this election will have to deal with? There are a lot of challenges, aren't there, for the incoming president, growing debt, rising cost of living. There's been criticism as well of corruption, high youth unemployment. Tell us about the challenges facing the incoming president.
Now, the person who is going to win this election will have a very difficult time fulfilling the promises they made to Kenyans during the campaign season, mainly because the country is in huge debt that was accumulated in the last 9 years during outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta's term. And currently, the country is spending about 65 shillings to pay debt in every 100 shillings that the National Treasury is collecting from taxes. Now, the issue of corruption has also been a key talking point in the campaign season up to date, where many people have blamed President Uhuru of not fighting corruption in his government, which has led to even his friend and former opposition leader Raila Odinga calling him a lame duck in fighting corruption. Now, Odinga promised that when he is elected into office, he is going to fight corruption and even prosecute people who are close friends to President Uhuru Kenyatta and show no favor to anyone that has cost this country money by stealing from it. Now, Ruto, on the other hand, has also promised that he will not show mercy to anyone who is prosecuted for corruption, but this will be difficult as some of these people are their friends, and Kenyans will hold them to account and demand that these issues are dealt with. When it comes to the cost of living, it's going to be hard to bring it down as well, as the country has to service the debts it has, and if that doesn't happen, there's the risk of defaulting that comes with very dire consequences, which means if they want to reduce the cost, then they will have to increase the taxes, which Kenyans are already overburdened with. So it's a lose-lose situation for anyone who becomes the president, and they'll have to find another way to deal with this issue, which the biggest option is continuing to borrow money to deal with the deficit in the national treasury and in the budget.